izquierdazo. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. This definitely isn't Pride. I don't think soccer kicks are legal, but there's gotta be a story to go along with that one, and there is, which I will get into later, after we take a look at all of these brutal knockouts from this past weekend that are getting our November off to a fantastic start because these promotions were just not playing around. But first, let's jump to our fan comment of the week that goes to My Pickle Jeff, and I am upset you made me laugh and won this award, which forced me to read your name out loud, but rules are rules. And yeah, if you missed it last week, yeah, that's the noise he's referring to, and that is definitely louder than dropping a cup at 3 a.m., which I didn't think was possible, so congrats to Jeff on winning our fan comment of the week this week and for being creative. What is going on, everyone? It's the Casual, Lawton Vierkant, and this is Caposa's Corner. Kicking us off this week, we're heading to Eagle FC in Russia for their Selection 5 event, which had this featherweight bout that sees Magomed Suleimanov with just a 2-1 record, and he's taking on Ernest Sadikov, who only has a 2-3-1. Oh boy, we are kicking this week off with a bang because we're in the first round with just a minute and a half left, and me using the expression kicking was completely on purpose. Holy freaking head kick, and first things first, Suleimanov was down for literally almost 5 minutes, but he does thankfully come to and is standing on his own, so we really hope he has a smooth recovery from this knockout. But wow, head kick to the dome, one body down on the canvas, and thankfully no extra or unnecessary shots after the head kick because Sadikov knows there's just absolutely nothing else that's needed from him. What a way to start us off this week though with an incredible highlight like this, so congrats to him one more time on the win and for improving his record to 3-3-1. Up next, we're heading to Kadia MMA's inaugural event in Egypt, where we might as well not lose any momentum because it is time for Caposa's hand-picked submission of the week. Here we have a bantamweight matchup that sees Mahmoud Ahmed with just a 1-0 record, and his opponent, Tarek Amar, has just the opposite record with an 0-1. So this is a fun one because just 12 seconds into it, we go to the ground where Ahmed isolates his leg and actually almost lands a heel hook at one point, but instead they just decide to wrestle for almost 3 minutes, and of course the audio actually decided to cut out on the broadcast at this exact moment, so I can't clip any of that in. But oh yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. You're looking at a calf slicer mixed in with a rear naked choke and one poor opponent that has just no choice but to tap. Ahmed's nickname is actually Jiu-Jitsu Kid, and well, considering now that both of his pro wins are via submission, I would say he's living up to that name so far. And can we also talk about how rare calf slicers are? I mean, when was the last time you saw one that wasn't on this show? Because we're getting lucky lately by seeing these pretty often. And the fact that Ahmed decided to throw in the rear naked choke along with it, yeah, he absolutely deserved our Submission of the Week award, so congrats on this win and for improving your record to 2-0. Now we're gonna head to Cage Fight Series 12 in Austria, where we have 2 fights to show you. For the first, we have a featherweight matchup that sees Darian Diego Hevia with an even 1-1 record, and he's up against Sean Da Silva, who has a clean 3-0. Yep, we've got another first round finish, and when this one is closing in on the 3-minute mark, well, Silva is just kind of piecing him up and putting the pressure on, but can he land a fight-ending blow?
Able to impose himself a little bit more. He's found his confidence.
Yes, indeed he can, and it was by this insane flying knee that just absolutely flatlines him against the cage, and again, there's just nothing else needed, and he knows it. And again, this one was a bit scary because Hevia was down for a few minutes and ended up being stretchered out of the cage, but don't worry, the man himself replied to Caposa on Twitter and is in good spirits and says he'll be back soon. But, I mean, yeah, Silva ate this right hand to the chest while in motion for this flying knee, and thankfully he came out on top because it just sneaks through and lands on the chin perfectly, which just sends him down and puts this fight to a screeching halt. So congrats to Silva for keeping his record clean at a now 4-0, and props to Hevia for being such a great sport and keeping his spirits high. And for our second fight at Cage Fight Series 12, yeah, we are just not slowing down because now it is time for Caposa's KO of the Week. Here we have the lightweight main event that has Tudor Dermenji sitting at a 6-5 record, and he's up against Bogdan Grad, who has a very nice 9-1, and no, you aren't going crazy or seeing double. This is in fact the same Bogdan Grad from a few weeks ago that had this standing guillotine where he put his opponent to sleep, and yeah, he is now getting back in the cage just barely over 6 weeks later. Okay, so we've seen what Grad can do. It's KO of the week, and obviously if we're just looking at records, his is much better than Dermenji, but we actually make it to the second round, and it's appearing to be a pretty fair fight because it's not really leaning in either guy's favor too much, but we know that that is about to come to an end.
Into the crowd, striking back to Shudo.
Grad, calm down, my guy. You won the fight, and I'm not sure if there was some sort of bad blood coming into this one, but yeah, he definitely wanted to let him know that he just knocked him out.
The game plan was to knock him the fuck out, and that happened.
And he did do it in spectacular fashion with this spinning heel kick and then about 4 unnecessary hammer fists, but that is 2 features for him in just a little over a month on the show. And he is now sitting at a 10-1 record, so I think it's safe to say we will probably be seeing him again very soon, except on a bigger stage. Moving on, we're heading to Gladiators Fight Night 5 in Brazil, which, fun fact, this promotion is now owned by none other than Paulo Costa. And I actually couldn't find much info on either fighter, so let's just take a look at the highlight and then we'll go over some details.
Pedaladas o Max para sair daquela posição incômoda. Luta. Uma pedalada sensacional.
Ouch. Multiple up kicks to the face isn't exactly what I would call my idea of fun, but here we are. So that's Max Gandra landing those up kicks and claiming this win once the ref decides the undefended ground and pound is enough. And the only Tapology page I found for him has him listed with a 1-5 record, showing that his last fight was almost a year ago, so I'm not sure if that's even accurate. And the same goes for our poor gentleman who ate those up kicks, because that's Bertin Declue, who has a 2-1 record according to Tapology, but it doesn't have this fight listed, and it shows that he actually fought last on October 15th, which was obviously just a few weeks ago. I wish I had more info to give you all, but that was all I could find. But the up kicks were what I really wanted to show you because they are just fierce and definitely rocked Declue, so I definitely think this was an appropriate stoppage. Next up, we're going to check out Shudo Brazil 11 in Brazil, where we have a welterweight bout that sees Emmanuel Felipe sitting at a nice 3-0 record, and he's up against Gabriel Pereira, who has just a 1-0. Okay, so this is another quick one because we get a finish in just 38 seconds of this fight beginning, and who do you think is going to get their first loss tonight?
For 1 minute of the fight, and watch this. Explosive. Whoa!
Haha, bet you thought Felipe was going to secure a knockout, didn't ya? But nope, he was just a little too over-aggressive, and Pereira sees an opening and throws this huge overhand left that instantly puts him to sleep. Patience is definitely key in a moment like this because one wrong move and Pereira could have eaten a shot that was coming at him, but he kept his cool, landed the overhand left, and keeps his record clean at now 2-0. Still going, we're going to head to Matchmaker MMA 3 in Colombia for a bantamweight matchup between Nicolas Bojaca with a 3-1 record, and his opponent, Anyusen Gaviria, has a 3-5. And as fate would have it, we have another first round finish, although this one does last 1 minute and 10 seconds, but still definitely quick, and it's just about as brutal as all the other ones we've seen this week. Yep, a missed Superman punch, but it worked as a great distraction because then this huge head kick sneaks in and just instantly turns the lights out, and the 2 hammer fists, I guess, were just for good measure. Bojaca also had a 5-3 amateur record, which isn't obviously the best, but this win puts him at a 4-1 pro record, so he's definitely on a solid path there and can hopefully land some more great knockouts here in the future. And for our last event this week, we're going to pay a visit to our friends at Ultimate Warrior Challenge Mexico 39, where they were busy because we have 3 fights to show you. For the first, we have a featherweight bout between Luis Escudero with just a 1-2 record, and he's taking on Hugo Rubio, who is just making his pro debut. So remember that clip we played at the intro? Well, let's take another look at it again because, yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about with this one.
Internas. Buen izquierdazo. Oh my God. Increíble. No.
I am sure by now you noticed something. Yeah, a soccer kick, which you can't do because...
That's fucking illegal.
And UWC events are held under the unified rules, so automatic DQ win for Rubio, right? Nope. After further review by the Tijuana Commission, they deemed the kick hit the chest/clavicle and not the face, giving Escudero the KO win. And the funniest part about that is, well, all the replays you can clearly see the kick definitely hits the chin and knocks him out, which, again, you can't do because...
That's fucking illegal.
But the good news is Rubio's team has already filed for an appeal on this decision, but no updates that I have found at the time of writing this, so, I don't know, seems pretty straightforward to me, but what are your thoughts? Am I blind, or is that 100% a soccer kick? But for now, Escudero does get the win, evens his record to 2-2, but we'll have to keep an eye to see what actually happens. And moving on to our second fight at UWC 39, we have a flyweight matchup between Brandon Uruchurtu, sitting at a 2-4 record, and he's actually been on this show twice, one for a loss and one for a win, and he's up against Luis Elias, who has just a 1-0. Man, none of these past few fights are lasting long at all, because we have yet another one that barely crosses over the 1-minute mark, and each guy decides head kicks are the way to go.
Ooh, nice lean back.
Oh! He's out!
Okay, well, they at least both tried a head kick. Uruchurtu wasn't so lucky with his, and then he ate this one that just sends him down, and thankfully the ref steps in. The crack of that kick, though, man, I don't know how he wasn't out cold, because he did attempt to protect himself, although that was the exact right move from the ref, because there was no way that one needed to go any longer. And unfortunately, Uruchurtu is on the losing end for his third appearance on our show, but Elias gets the job done quick, gains a win, and keeps his record clean at 2-0. And for our last fight this week, still at UWC 39, I told you they were busy, but it only makes sense to go out on a bang, so let's take a look at Caposa's prospect of the week. Here we have the co-main event featherweight fight that has Ivan Maya sitting at an even 7-7 record, and he's up against Aaron Conyarte, who has a dang 9-0 record. Well, it appears to be a little obvious who the prospect is going to be, but we've seen upsets before, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. And we actually make it to the second round in this one, and it just opens up with both guys throwing bombs at each other, but we do actually end up going to the canvas, where about 20 seconds later, uh-oh, what is this?
He needs to answer the phone. He needs to answer the phone. He's gonna tap, baby.
He's about to tap. He's about to tap.
There it is! There it is! Aaron Conyarte.
Yeah, who would have guessed it? The 9-0, now 10-0 fighter would be our prospect, but there we have it. Aaron Conyarte is in fact our winner and prospect, so let's talk about it. If you recognize that name when I introduced them, well, that's because he was on the show back in April with this devastating KO that only took him 2 minutes, and alongside those two highlights, he has plenty of other great finishes and submissions over the course of his career, and oh, by the way, his first professional fight wasn't until February of 2020. Yeah, that's right, 10 wins in under 3 years, and he's only 26, so it seems like this is a recipe for success when you combine that with his 5-0 amateur record that only lasted a year and a half. The guy is clearly well-rounded, and Caposa says that a UWC title shot is easily next in line for him unless a bigger stage gets to him first. So congrats to Aaron Conyarte again on this win and an insanely impressive career, and we definitely can't wait to see more from you. A new month and a fresh board, so make sure you stay tuned over the next few weeks while we add some more names and fights up here, and don't forget to leave your comments down below so that I can keep an ongoing tally of them as we go through the month of November. And as far as October is concerned, here are our winners from that. We've got Enrique Da Silva from KSW 75 with this crazy comeback front kick KO that was just beautiful and followed up by one ground hook. And for our submission of the month, well, that goes to Leonardo Casotti from MMA Series 58, where, hey look, another calf slicer, except this one bent the hell out of the leg and it forced the instant tap. And then, of course, for our prospect of the month of October, we have Bruno Lopez, where he claimed the vacant LFA light heavyweight title via nasty elbow and then hunting down his prey. So a huge congrats to all 3 of our winners from last month. And we want to say another huge shout out to Caposa for again helping us all all year long with these videos, so if you don't already, go give him a follow on his Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman. And you can also show him some support by checking out his Patreon at patreon.com/Caposa. And if you ever want to watch these fights live, head on over to his website at grabakahitman.com for weekly live schedules and the easiest ways to watch them. We also cannot forget about these amazing organizations that host these events all year round for us to enjoy, so thank you to them, and a huge thank you to all of the fighters, winners and losers, and we will see you all on the next video. Peace!